Yay! We're live. We're live, we're live, we're live. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we are live on Clubhouse. Good morning, James. Well, happy, incredible, amazing new day. It's Monday and it's 6 o'clock. It's Monday, the 21st of October. I don't know why I tell you the date. I think it's something to do with what the news used to do, right? Well, I say used to, it still does, but you got to be listening to the news to be able to know whether it still does. Sometimes, just now and again, I listen to the news on the way to university, and I'll be honest, it's a load of claptrap. So I just don't listen to the news. I don't watch the television, and well, I don't do all sorts that I used to do in the past. There was loads of things that I used to do, really loads of things. I used to eat sugar. Anyway, we're going to go on to that in a minute. Share this space out, peeps. Let's invite people that we know normally come in. I know that we had a few people saying they were going to come along, so I'm just going to do that and get people in. Let's just share the space. It's always nice to talk to ourselves, but I also think it's nice when more people get to listen. That's just it. I just think it's great content and it's fantastic concepts and it's a great start to the week. And I personally think that it's a place worth being in. But you know what? If it's just you, me, and they, then I am winning too, because it's not. We're on the interweb. So whether there's three of us at 300 away up, we're going to be right. So either 300 of us or three of us, it really doesn't matter, because when two or more come together, then God is there. And that's not God backwards. It's not dog is there. It's God is there. It's true that our spiritual connection is there in spite of ourselves. Whether or not we choose to show up for ourselves. I ain't got my teeth in today. I'm just going to take a drink. I've just come out of a meeting, so bear with me as I settle. I'm sure there's not many people can say they've just come out of the meeting at 6 o'clock, but it's how I roll. So I'm Mandy Jane, for those that don't watch me ordinarily. I am a SENDCO, Specific Educational Needs Disability Coordinator. It's a posh name for a lady that works with all sorts of issues. And I'm in school and in college. I'm a teacher, basically. But I'm a special teacher for special people. We're all special, right? And I'm a trainee social worker, soon to be a completely trained social worker. Actually, next May the 11th, I think you'll find it is. Not specific enough there, but I'm done on May the 11th. That's when That's why I'm finishing. That's when I'm done. So I am aiming for that. I'm not saying I'm aiming for May the 11th, and I am also a therapist. So for my sins, I didn't ever want to be a therapist, but I unfortunately got a fantastic therapist called Rob. He's called, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. We're no longer, yeah, called Rob Tyson, and he was like Tyson. Um, many years. We worked together, and he is a psychotherapist who's just an absolute boss. Why not celebrate the people that you worked with, MJ? Because it's not a secret that we were in therapy together. At the end of the day, he then became the supervisor for the therapists that I created with the LSOS provision, because we needed therapists in Scarborough and there weren't any. And I think it's all about resolving problems. Hey, good morning. Lovely to see you. Um, and resolving problems really is what I'm at, because that's what anybody that learns, I think, does. They look for the patterns in the world and then they solve the problems that they find. That's life, right? I think, for me, that's life. Because it's never a finished piece, is it? Life's a bit like a never ending painting. It's a portrait that we're creating, but it's ourselves. And it's ourselves in reflection. We're not going to get too airy fairy angel lady, but we are going to go quantum today, because we're talking about what you'd do if you could go back to your past. And for those that are here, if you're in the chat, if you're online, pop it in the comment right now. Just think for a second. If you could go back to your past, what would you do? James, what would you do if you could? Is he there? He'll be making a cup of tea.
I would have been kinder to himself for sure. Not so brutal with the language I used to myself. For example, when my father died when I was 21, he died at 49. I used to always have the statement in my head with the mindset in my head that I would beat 49, meaning that I wouldn't turn 50. Well, in another couple of months, I will turn 50. And I'm quite confident about that because a wonderful friend yesterday was requesting ideas and thoughts for my birthday. So I said,
Yeah.
well, if you know anything about me, you'll know that there's books everywhere. There's always a new book for the collection. So this lady got some inspiration, and it was a really, really good day. But goodness me, the power of Mother Nature today is so windy. I'm sure you can remember days like that up in Scarborough where you're just walking head first into the wind with a
Absolutely.
yeah, it's incredible today. The noises from outside. It's just so. I
Sobering.
think the trains are going to be quite delayed today, but that's fine because I've got a good plan for the week ahead. But yeah, my language used to be absolutely appalling with myself, and now I just pause in the moment when a thought comes into my head, and I think, well, where's that come from? Um, is it actually useful to me? Um,
Curious, remaining
yeah,
curious about what you're listening to,
yeah,
because they're not your
absolutely.
voices all the time. They're not. Listening to yourself
Yeah,
is a.
strange things can inspire you sometimes
Mm,
to go off on
mm,
a real assault course on yourself when
mm.
you just need to pause and hold the moment and realize sometimes them thoughts they definitely will pass if you wallow in them too long.
Oh,
Yeah, you're going to be in. Well, you're going to get into some kind of trouble for sure.
indeed.
Um, but a little bit of experience with that. But as I say, that's now in the rearview mirror. That's behind me, and you just move forward. And all today, I won't be moving forward too fast because it's so windy. But that's perfectly fine because it means I have got to slow down some days.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, you have. I'm really, really grateful for your input there, because I think that all of us would be able to say that it would have been more respectful to have been kinder to ourselves in the past. But there isn't any rewinding, not for me, uh, because it's a closed chapter. Actually, it informs us, but it isn't us. I think I said earlier that actually there's lots of things I used to do that I no longer do. Watch the news, um, take pharmaceutical medication, uh, um, be on oxygen. Uh, more than that, but if I was thinking about going back, there's loads of things that we could hold regret about, right? Because things that we didn't do as well as we might, exams that we failed, projects that we didn't finish, um, opportunities that we missed because we were too scared. I think that fear is false evidence appearing real, and I think that much regret is in the things we never did. Because actually, I get things wrong all the time and too right, because we have to get things wrong in order to get them right. I look back at my past and I see a tapestry of um, opportunities and things that threatened my well-being that I didn't see coming, and successes that I didn't celebrate, and those that I did, and disappointments that were never mine to be disappointed about because nobody ever promised me anything, and we arrive here with nothing and we leave the same way. But at the time and in this moment, I don't always see what it is that I've got. And I'm sure you might be the same. I've just realised that my camera has come off my face, which is great news because it was looking at, I think, my knee. Let's try that again. Let's see if it knows how to do that now. Start. There we go. It's having a go. Technical problems, eh? The technical problem of being able to have two cameras. So eventually we will mix these things together and maybe make some movies. Who knows? But my past is that interconnected tapestry of all of those events, and so is yours. And I just want you to think back for a second to something that you wish you'd done, like James just alluded to, spoken kindly, more kindly to himself. Just think about that thing and think about where it sits in your body. Like, where is that feeling? And wherever it is, you'll know. And just take your concentration because you've got it. Yeah, you know you can focus on things. You can think about this right now. You thought about opening Clubhouse today. Just take it and put it in that space. And when I'm thinking right now about the thing I wish I'd done, and there's lots that I wish I'd completed or things that I'd done, when I think about it, it's in the pit of my stomach. It's like a bit of a weird feeling. It's almost making me like I want a wee, but it's like just above there. And I'm just going to hold my attention there. I'm just going to breathe into it actually, because sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable when I think about things like that. And when I'm breathing in, when I'm breathing out, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go right down. If you imagine you've got a cord that's attached to your tailbone, right? Like at the back of your bum, bottom of your spine. If you attach a cord there and then you send it right down into the middle of the universe, right down into the middle of the earth, right down into the core of the earth, right down, 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 whatever colour it is, might be silver, whatever colour you've got, just send it down there. It might be a chain. It could be a string. I don't know what you've got. It doesn't matter what you've got. Just send it down, down, right down now, down into the middle of the earth, as far as you can see, down into the middle of the earth, just as far as you can see. Now come on, right down. That's what you're doing with it now. You can feel that. Tether it there. Just leave it there. Tie it there. You're going to leave it there. Now it's connected to you, and you're right in the middle of the universe and in the middle of the world. And if you think about it, down there it's really hot, it's quite fiery, and what we're going to do is we're just going to send that feeling right down that cord, right down. Now I can feel it leaving my bum. It goes right down, right down, right down, and then we can just, like, send some love and light to that area, and it's gone. So I don't know how empty you feel of that feeling now, but that feeling of disappointment is okay, because it's showing you the things that you didn't finish, because that's all your brain is. It's a massive computer, and it hasn't got a tied up bow for that little happening. And what you've just done, whatever it was, is you've taken the feelings that you had, and they're not real. The feelings that you had about that disappointment, you just sent them where they go, which is down your root chakra. It goes into the universe. It's where universal energy goes. It also comes up and you can clean the bottom of yourself with it. But we'll go on to that on a different day. Today, the theory of everything says that we are interconnected, and that if we alter anything, it changes time. It ripples throughout the universe. It's not just a philosophical idea. It's actually directed to stuff that I talk about all the time, which is quantum physics. Now, I didn't like physics. I thought it was shit. Pardon my French. But physics was just all I remember. All I remember, the most important thing in the entire universe, was the game where you put your hand on the glass domey thing, and then everybody's house doesn't end. Mr. Stones from my physics class was a real woolly. And he was really clever, but he was a bit of an egghead, and he had no communication skills really at all. He talked to boys like, but he didn't really talk to girls. He didn't really look at girls. He was really old. He's probably dead, but he was really lovely. He was just a bit weird. It was Mr. Stones, and he was quite rude to me one day. Anyway, doesn't matter, Mr. Stones. And that's sort of the only thing I can remember, because the rest of his life he just made me feel sad. So that was a really good game, Mr. Stones. And what you taught me was that energy connects us, and that what we can't see. He also showed me colour. Actually, he showed me how colour split up from white light. That was fascinating as well. I think maybe it was a really good course, but I didn't really understand how good it was at the time. I was just like, what do I need to know how colour works? What are you on about? And of course there's electricity. It's there. I haven't argued. I haven't argued what you showed me for. I haven't argued with you. A bit like God. I didn't argue about him being around. I didn't argue about electricity. Why are you showing me what I already know? I mean, it's fun to watch people look stupid, but I already knew that electricity existed because I use it every day. So I did feel a little bit like physics was a bit like stating the bleeding obvious. Anyway, I didn't study it because it annoyed me. Now I think it's fantastic. So you see, things in my past are not the same in my present, and I wouldn't change them because I wouldn't be able to laugh about my own ridiculousness at the time as being shown actually all there ever is. He was like, listen, these two things are the only thing you need in life. So just watch this. It's gonna stay there because I'm gonna let you laugh at it, and then see this because I'm gonna show it you on a videography thing. It wasn't even a video. I'm gonna show it you on this cine thing, and I'm gonna show you because it'll make you remember. And he was right. And they were the only two things I actually needed to know. So thank you, Mr. Stones. It appears you were the genius, not me. Anyway, in this quantum physics deal, right? They say we're dealing with 4 dimensions. Well, they're wrong. We're dealing in 10 dimensions. And anyone that doesn't know that needs to come and see me. Because if you understand maths, and again, I didn't like maths. In fact, I said to my teacher at the time, I'll remember her name in a minute. She changed it, Mrs. Schofield. There you are, Miss Schofield, and then she changed it to something else, but it was Schofield anyway. She said to me, I said, I don't need to know logarithms. What are you doing? I said, I don't want to. I don't want to be a fisherman. I don't want to be on a boat. She went, you need logarithms for the more than being a fisherman. You might be a captain of a ship, and I'm like, I might not be. I don't think I'm ever going to go boating. Me and boats, no, it's not happening. No, no, I'm not going to be a sailor, so I don't need to know about logarithms. I also wasn't so keen about geometry, to be honest. I was like, why do I have to draw triangles? They already exist. Somebody else can draw them. I don't want to draw them. I want to be a nursery nurse. I want to look after kids. I don't want to draw triangles. I can draw them with a ruler. I don't need to know how long they are. Why do I need to measure the inside of the... Why do I need to know the angles of a triangle? Why do I need that? I mean, I'm not going to deal in triangles. And I got a D in my GCSE mock. And then I buckled down because I realised I couldn't be a nursery nurse unless I got a C. So yeah, I bothered with the geometry questions, and I bothered with the logarithms for a bit because I realised that I could get the points, and points meant prizes, and prizes meant getting what I wanted. Yeah, that was essentially it. So thank you, Mrs. Schofield, and thank you to Paula. Can't remember her surname. Paula, who was my maths teacher, who smoked like a trooper, my mum's friend. Um, it was wild. Who came to me every week, and I hated it. And she had a very gruff voice, very very gruff voice. Hello, how are you? It's very scary. But I did some sacred geometry with her, and that was just amazing. And what it taught me was that everything has an underlying pattern, and that actually the point of the universe is its shape. And that, for me, was the connecting dot. For me, understanding why geometry was important. When somebody said, measure the angles of the external curriculum perpendicular to this, I was like, yeah, whatever. When they said, this is how the universe is made, I went, ah, it's a map. So thank you to Paula, because if I hadn't have understood about sacred geometry and then taken it further, as I had to do it at undergraduate level, again, I didn't want to, but I wanted an IT and computing degree, but T171 was the only module that you had to do, undergraduate maths. Thanks very much, Mrs. Schofield. You can see why you were right and I was wrong again. Great, that feeling. I've let it go years ago, right down into that pit of the middle of the earth where all the energy gets transmuted, and I don't have to do anything about it. So I can enjoy the fact that I had no idea why it was so important. But I had to study T171, and I cried every week. I cried to Fran's cousin, sorry, who was a mathematician doing a PhD. I think she'd nearly finished a PhD in maths, about the fact that I didn't want to know about any of this trajectories or maps or gradients or how many times a ball you had to bang against a wall. Velocity, that's it. I didn't want to know about any of that. I didn't want to know how the universe works somehow. And I had to, or I couldn't have what I wanted. So I got my IT and computing qualification in T171 for the IT and computing degree from the Open University, and I made sure I smashed it with help from my friends. So, would I change anything? Well, if I did, it'd shift every single quantum particle connected in that moment, altering the entire reality from that point forward. So no, I couldn't. I couldn't. Because every single thing changes every single thing. And the connections before and after. So there's the paradox, isn't it? Because if it's the same world, would you even be the same person? Because the past is immovable, and tweaking it can literally end our understanding of existence. The only possibility for us is to remain in the present, isn't it? Here, with me, right now, doing this. That's where the real gift lies, right? It's in the present. I've always said that the present's a gift that you can hold and feel and shape. That's where mindfulness comes in. I'll be honest, I don't think many of us are often in the present. I'm not. I'm still practicing. I'm really not as good as I'd like to be at anything. But I am where I am, and when I look back at what I didn't know and what I know now, I'm aware I can take a 360 on everything. Everything. Even the way the universe is made. Because I didn't know it was connected to triangles. A bit like I didn't know that fruit were carbs. Most of us are rarely in the present. I remain in it more often now because it's hysterical and it's also really fun. And I also love learning. And to learn, I've got to fail. And to fail, I've got to let go of the shame of what I didn't do. If we're stuck in our minds replaying memories and worrying about the future and living in our past regrets, then we're pretty wasting our time, I'll be honest. If there's anything you've ever done that was that, it was a waste of your time. You've literally, it's gone. Just send it down that cord. Send it right now, all of it, every single last bit of that wasted time that you've wasted, because it's fine. It was all for a purpose. It was so that you could feel this moment now. Let go of your wasted time. Just let go of it. That feeling you get, wherever it is in your body right now, just let go of it. It's fine. I had a bit of it. I had a bit of it right there. It was like made my head throb a bit and my in betweeny bits kind of crunch up a bit, and I just felt a bit ooh, and my tummy again. I just let it go. Just let it go because it is pointless. Those moments don't exist anymore. They're just a memory, and we can let those memories go. We can let the energy flow out of us. We can just leave it, let it leave your feet, actually go right down from your bum, right down your legs, right out your feet. They're called your feet chakras. You can open them up like a flower. You just open them up right now, and then you just send it right down there. You can feel it pulsating. That's it. Just let it drain out like you would out of I don't know, a shit pit. I don't know, whatever it is. One of those big buckets of poo. That one. Just let it out. Let it out. Let it all go out. When it all's gone, then you'll feel a lot better. A lot better. We can do something about that then. Mindfulness teaches us to embrace the now, to feel those feelings, to allow our chemical reactions to move with our emotion and allow our emotion to move through us, not get stuck in us. Because when it gets stuck in us, that's when we get poorly. It's called diseased. We're in dis-ease. So when you're practicing that mindfulness, you're going to give yourself that power to focus on now. You're not running back to that past that you can't change, and even if you did, you wouldn't be who you are, so you'd be a different person, so they wouldn't be having this conversation, so it's pointless. And you can't get into a future you've not made because you haven't done the work. That's the point. You can imagine anything you like, but you've got to do the graft to get there. You've got to be straight down the line and do the graft to get there. And if you don't do the graft to get there, don't expect to get there. That's it. So it's pointless in imagineering what you're going to do when you're not doing the graft for it. And if you're not, you know you aren't. So you just have to get on with it, don't you? I'm talking to myself there as well. I have a feeling it's my granddad's voice because he lived in Barnsley. So I have a feeling that's my granddad. Granddad Godley, very proud, and George Godley, a very proud and honourable man who taught me that I didn't like tripe at the time. Now, I haven't eaten tripe since. So, Grandad, I probably am going to eat my words. I'm probably going to cook it. I can't remember what it is. I think it's cow stomach. But I'll be honest, my palate has changed. And it's the only thing I say that I don't enjoy. So I think what I should do is go back and change that past right now by seeing if it exists still in my present. And I think that's the point. It's okay to test things in the present, actually do them, just not keep going ruminating about the same story again and again, because it's just a story we've told ourselves for many years. 53 actually, 43. I've told myself I don't like tripe. Watch me like tripe in about 6 weeks. That'll be funny. That'll be funny, won't it? It's not funny yet because I don't like it. Oh, what's that? We've got to be rooted in the now, and I mean rooted. Rooted is, of course, that root chakra that I sent down with you to the ground. Now, any time that you feel like shit, just connect to the inside of the universe, inside of the earth, right to the middle, down, down, with that cord that's connected to your root. You can send everything down there. It's like a lift shaft. And just go down. It doesn't have to come back up ever. Once it's down, it's cleansed, and then when energy comes back up, which it does, right up your bum, then it fills you with joy and energy and revitalization, and it deals with the whole bottom half, like your whole bottom half. The top half comes from the one on the top of your head, and if you just tap now on the top of your head, where you have that soft spot, they call it your fontanelle. Go and get your hand up there. Just little taps, like rain taps. Maybe a little bit tough if you've got a tough skull. I have. I like tapping. It's a good feeling. It makes me feel good. It actually releases a lot of tension, and that anchors us in the now. Right. So does tapping here, which is your third eye. Just gently. I'm a bit tough, but you know, I work out every day. I'm bound to be strong. Can't help it. I can't really tap gentle. Well, I don't want to. I like the feeling. And then at the side of your eyes, those bits that bulge out when you get across, those bits where your veins get stupid, just tap nice there, and it just lets it go. And under your eyes, that bit under your bone, just there, and under your nose, don't have to be loads, and under your chin, and then on your collarbones. And you know, it's not slow, is it? And then under your arms, and I like a little, you know, jingle jangle because of my bracelets, a bit like a monkey, isn't it? That's really good. And then on the back of your hands. And you will then, even if you've got some feelings that you've tapped out, they might be in your feet, in your tummy. And if they are, just let them go. Just let them go right down. Let them go right down into that middle of the universe, right in the middle of the world, right down in the middle of the earth. Because, well done. If we're not in the now, then the place is really cluttered, isn't it? And if we don't allow the emotion to release, then it can be a real discombobulated tangle inside. But if you want to be rooted in the now, and you don't want to go back to the past, and you do want to learn from it, but you don't want to go there every day, then that's a really good start. Just doing that, rooting yourself in the here and now. You know, it's already behind you. It's played its part, and you don't know what's coming. So what about just coping with what we've got going on now? I'm really grateful to everybody for listening for all that length of time, and I'm really proud of you for being here and showing up for yourself. Because I'll be honest, our energy together is powerful, and we are honoured, I think, to be together. So, Jew, good morning. What do you reckon? Would you go back to your past? And how was that for you?
I would definitely have given myself a bigger kick the arse in school. I wouldn't have bothered with sugar. For years. And I don't bother with it now.
I think it's why you're alive, love. I do. I think it's why you're still here. So I appreciate that you would have done things differently, but did you let anything go today, or were you not able to? Did you feel anything when I talked about it? I'm just wondering. It's interesting to me.
I don't think I did.
No.
Truth.
Lots of people don't. Not at first, because it's like anything. When you practice it, it gets stronger for some people. But even the intention, even just thinking about it, is enough. Did you know?
I didn't.
Yeah. So you don't need to feel anything, because some of us don't. I don't feel my leg. Sorry, I shouldn't take the. But it's just too good to be true, isn't it? You can't leave that one on the table. Even if you're being serious about feelings and stuff. It's a good job we know each other, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
But you see, and if you changed any of that stuff at school, you'd have been too clever for me to talk to.
Don't think so. When
I think so. That might have changed things, and then you might not have met me, and I might not be. We might not be careering out of the home for the elderly in a bit. I mean, I haven't graduated yet. You had to let me finish the degree before I got you out. There's no point in me getting you out before I was a social worker, was there? That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. The other thing is that we couldn't let them save up all the money they had to give you for doing what they've done. Do you see? You see, it's not my fault. It's their doing. I've tried my bestest, so it mustn't be ready yet. It mustn't be ready yet. I think we are on it. I just think it's a different way to everybody, the way everybody wanted the story to go. I didn't want it to take ages. I wanted it to be like da 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 da, but it's not like that. That's not how reality is. Things take ages. A woman said to me yesterday she's taken 5 years for a back operations. 5 years, man. Do you know what I mean?
long time.
Yeah, so I'm just giving myself excuses as to why you haven't escaped yet. That's all I'm doing. But the escape is imminent. I promise you. We're on it now. I went and did the learning with the barristers people. That's what I did. I didn't mean to. I just accidentally turned up and then I learned about your stuff, which is amazing. I love the universe, don't you? But I did have to go, you see, I did have to act in the moment and say, I want to go to that conference. And then I had to book onto those legal seminars and then I had to actually listen, didn't I? Without those things happening, I wouldn't have just miraculously turned up with the information to escape you.
It's a good job one of us did.
Well, yeah, I'm not being funny. They won't let you out for a swim. They're not going to let you out for a legal seminar in London. What do you think you are? Free? Are you suggesting you're a free and relevant citizen that hasn't done any harm? I don't think that's the case, is it? I don't think you're being treated in that way, do you?
No.
No, I think in fact, for public record, you're being treated in a way that doesn't even let you go for a swim. And in fact, I had to drive back to the home to get your things because we had problems that needed solving, and we asked the home to bring things to us when you were away, and they wouldn't. And I drove 40 minutes in the dark, got the stuff, came back another 40 minutes because they didn't send a carer with you and they wouldn't even send one out to help you. That's right, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to court, personally, because I've got stories that'll make the judge's hair curl. If he has got any. If he's got any. Oh, I hope he's not bald. I hope he. Oh, yeah, I won't know, will I? He'll be wearing a hat. I still think that's hysterical. There must be a really very important reason why they wear a curly wig. I'm going to find out because I feel like a bit of a div because I don't know. Do you know why?
No.
They are. See, we're both not knowledgeable. I wonder if James knows. I'm going to find out. I've talked to him already, but I'm going to talk to him again. All right. Hey up,
Okay.
James.
Bye.
Bye. Hey James, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I think that judge's wig with Julian will end up looking like it's got white dreadlocks. Things. When I visited that care holding destination,
Yes.
I was a bit disturbed as well. I mean, when you look at the sheer gloss of it going in there, you think, yeah, and then once you start to observe things, having worked within that industry,
Mate, I've never seen such a
familiarity.
It's hysterical.
Patterns of familiarity just occur, and you think, just shake your head and roll your eyes.
It's wild. Do you know about the wig then?
No, don't.
Wow, this is fascinating, Joe. Oh, hey up, hey, see. Don't interrupt. All right, we get it. They are. Go on then. Shall we let her, James?
To signify, first of all, is to signify importance, but it's also so that they can hide their identity so they don't get jumped after.
Well, it's weird because
it's meant to be so that a person can go away from being a normal person to a person of authority without anybody knowing who they are, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird that because one of my ex-social work helper people, bosses, practice educators, is on Facebook with a different name. And I'm like, I know that face. So I messaged her and I went, hey, sausage face or whatever she's called herself. Do I know you? I thought, is that her daughter? And then I thought, no, it's just her younger. She just don't put the latest photos on. And I thought, is that her? That's not her. Is it her? But it's somebody that's looked at my profile. So she's been on my Facebook, right? Anyway, so I just messaged her because that's what I'm going to do with people that pretend not to stalk me. I'm going to say, oh, but of course she's changed her name and now I know why. That's why they tell you shouldn't be on Facebook or whatever if you're a social worker. Well, there we are. It's a new era of social work, isn't it? I'm not wearing a wig. They can dream on and well, unless I lose my hair. Then I'll wear all the wigs. James, sorry about that, but we needed that interjection of what the hell was going on. We really did, and our Fran knew already. It's fantastic. Oh, here we are. He's a good lad. Morning.
We just needed a clever lady with curly hair.
There
really.
we are.
That's all we needed.
That's right, absolutely. And you've got one there. I tell you, she's brighter than the average boo-boo. That one. Bit like you. There's some bright people in this room. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I'll tell you for that for nothing. It's like our Alan. Our Alan has got a 3D printer this weekend, and he's going to print the chocks that go on the Omeos. Like, the man's a boss. Like, I'm not having you on. And he gets an Omeo in a week. He's getting an Omeo. Our Alan's getting an Omeo. I'm so happy that we've got another member of staff with an Omeo, and then I can go out to play. With Alexia.
That was a bit of a laugh.
What going out to play? On the Omeos.
That was good. MJ,
Yes,
I'm
darling.
not being funny. Why don't you try and get into Mensa if you're not already in Mensa?
Well, they asked me, and I did all the thingies, and then I got my knickers in a knot because they were all really boring monsters in a club that weren't very nice, and they were being horrible to a girl I was going in with. She ended up taking her membership up, but they were horrible to her, so I said no.
Really? Oh, well, honestly, MJ, you are super duper clever.
I kicked off. And she ended up getting put back in because she was neurodivergent. But I was like, I'm not being a member of such a dickhead club, which they're not. They were just being really ableist at that time, just because they didn't understand and they were a bit eggheady, and it was just a bit much for me, and I wasn't really evolved. So at that time, I was just like, oh, stop being dickheads. Like, which, I can revert to being, like, oh. But now I understand why those boys who were, a lot of them were probably a bit incelly. And that's probably not a phrase to use, but you know what I mean. And they probably hadn't really realised or actualised, and they probably were really angry with everything that they never done, and they probably regretted their past, and they probably hadn't sent it down the chute. You weren't here, but they sent it down the chute into the middle of the universe, and they were holding it maybe. And then that really means that they play it out with everybody else, right? So it wasn't a nice club to be in. It was just like the people with the funny handshakes, the not Rotary, the Mason lady, the Lady Masons. They wanted me to join, and then I found out that I couldn't get inaugurated as far as Wakefield from Scarborough. And I said, "What do you mean you've got loads of places that nobody can get in? Like, you're just dickheads. You've got loads of money." I didn't say that. That's just what I thought. I mean, you got loads of money and you do good shit, but you won't actually help the people. That's because you don't want us there. Like, that is deliberate, mate. That is like, come on. And they wanted me right until she met me in a cafe and then realised I was in a wheelchair. And she really had rung my office and gone on and on and on. And they eventually went round the corner for an hour. The cafe around the corner, I actually got the hairdresser's husband to open it because I really wanted a cafe. So I literally nagged them. Like, they got it eventually, and all of my clients went there, and like, we had dinners and all sorts. It was just a little tiny hole. I mean, it was tiny when I think about that. And Alan did so well with that cafe. But I went round, and then she came in. You see, she was already there when I got there, and then she was like, "Oh, well, Alan just looked like he was." I thought Alan was going to explode with funniness because he could see that this posh lady had wanted me to go and help him, and then realised that they couldn't get me in. So I'm a bit not impressed with some of these organisations, and that includes the Masons and the Rotary Club. They're not impressive. They're better than all of the others, though. I'm really not pleased with a lot of the churches that I've had to help. And I was a member of like diocese in Sheffield, and most of them were just completely inappropriate and didn't know how to move. So at the moment, those structures are like Russell Group universities are a little immovable, and they need to grow up because it's 2024. So that's the reason. So that's the reason, Chris. It's not because I don't like them. It's because they're disrespectful and dishonourable, and they only think about things that look like themselves. And unfortunately, that means that I can't roll with it. Like, literally, not into their place or out of it.
Right, it's the spice of life.
It is. But I mean, if I ain't got a problem with having a club. I've joined one last night actually. I joined the social work education association because I didn't know there was an international one. I joined it last night. You'll see it in the bank, Fran. I joined it last night because there's all sorts of scholarships for people to learn how to work social work internationally. So I'm happy with clubs. I love clubs. I just like them to be effective.
We're going to have a chat soon. I'm working on something that you've got many fingers in. Well, you've got fingers in many pies. So it'll
Certainly
be
have.
cool to chat about what I'm planning, and hopefully you like it.
Good. I think I will. I'm designing an NFT for good at the moment, and I'm thinking about putting out the versions that we've got to a competition in order that we can get the NFT because I need it. I'm going to open the place soon, and I need that as initially. I need it quite importantly now, like now. I need it now. So it's become urgent. It wasn't urgent, but it really is now. And sorry, well, conversations that I'm having with people about certain countries and the place that we need to connect to. We have a partner ready, and I need that NFT for good, so that partner can fully engage in everything that we need to co-create together. So I can't say much more because I'm on one of them where you're not allowed to say shit. But we need it quite urgently, and I'm very grateful that I've already made this planning and this preparation. For the last 2 years, I've been banging on about this, and that's why we're still on Clubhouse. I've been banging on about gated token communities forever, and it's about to become really very, very important to the health and well-being of all the people that we keep in our Karas. It's going to be very important. The concept of Karas, of our spiritual connection, of our family, of knowing the inside knowledge and understanding what things are about, is about to become so important that actually nobody ever knew just how important it was. A bit like World War II when we discovered how to see the enemy. I'm really proud of you for being here and sticking with it. I'd love to speak to you about what you're planning. I'd like you to get the fuck on with it as well. and me. I'm talking to myself there.
Wow, you must be passionate about it. No, I was just going to say, so NFT, still, I thought they'd gone off the boil a little bit. But,
Right, it's not about that. I need it. It's not about that. It's about the purpose. It's never about whether something's fashionable. I don't give a shit about fashion, Chris. What I care about is purpose. And when I have a purpose for something, and that is a process, then I can connect it into my universe, and that's absolutely fine. And it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it. It's not about that. I was investing in Bitcoin when everybody said not to, and I withdrew from it before everybody else did. So I never do what everyone else does on account of the fact that it's usually shit.
Correct. If you do, I saw a really cool quote about if you do the same as everyone else, you'll get what they get.
Well, there you go. Mediocre, mate. Mediocre. The middle get mediocre, and I'm not up for it. For tepid. I'm not up for insipid. I'm not up for putting up with, shutting up with. I'm not up for not being involved. I'm not up for being othered. I'm not up for that shit. It's a soup that I don't swim in.
You go for excellence.
I just go for me. And I go for truth, actually. Anyway, I will go back to the ladies because you've jumped ahead of the ladies, which is a bit weird.
Oh, sorry,
It's all right. No, they won't mind at all. We're all together. We don't do this, ladies, gentlemen, and other genders, diversity. We just do we're us. And I don't think that we need to do all that. Although it's nice to nod back to the past, the reality is that we're all equal. And if we want to be equal, we need to be treated equal, right? Actually. So I think it goes both ways. Yeah, ladies first, but don't forget to make me equal. Hang on. I'm not sure that's equal. All right, so Fran, are you there? You amazing lady for knowing all about the wig.
I am here.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mensa's shit. Sorry about that. I know it's a bit straightforward, but it was a bit shit.
No,
then
it's
it's
fine.
maybe got better now. Maybe. Maybe I'll do Mensa after I finish uni. Yeah, I've got enough on.
Maybe.
Yeah. So how are you?
But
what do you reckon?
Well, I don't think I'd want to go back to my past. As much as you know, it's been a roller coaster of a life.
Yeah.
But I just think it's shaped me to the
Mm.
person I am today. And I think without going through those trial and tribulations, it wouldn't have made me who I am today. And I'm proud of me.
Hmm.
So I don't think, no, you can't change your past. I think you have to embrace your past.
I agree. That's a word. Give it a big damn cuddle. And all
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
negative feelings you get, let them go down. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it. I say it's like down a hole down my bum hole. It's terrible, but it's like my bum's getting dragged out of me and down into the middle of the earth. I can literally just at any point I can just open up my bum or the back of my back and let it all out and let it all down because I've trained myself, so I can let those feelings just piss off straight away. And I think that's powerful.
Yeah.
I think it's changed me as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Definitely.
think it's changed how I present in the world and how I can show up for myself.
Well, for somebody who's known you a long time, I would agree wholeheartedly.
Thank you. Because I want to hear that. Like, I don't want to be as shit as I was.
You would shit anyway. I think for you, knowledge has been power.
Yeah.
And because you have always learned and have always taught yourself,
Yeah.
in whichever way it's been, yeah, knowledge is power.
It is. I can't believe I'm sat here, right? And I had no idea, and you can confirm this. I had no idea what I was talking about until a few minutes before because I literally had forgotten to do what I should have done. Am I not right? Right. I am sat here. I am sat here in dungarees with sacred geometry all over them. Honestly, I'm sat here with dungarees on with sacred geometry all over them. Now, that's the only that's the only item in my wardrobe with sacred geometry on it. The only one. It's not like I've got oodles of it. That's the only thing. I bought it recently. They are literally from Cardiff Central. Sacred. I was like, Jesus, they've got sacred geometry on them. I'm having them. And I'm wearing them today. And yet, in my front brain, I had completely forgotten about preparing for this or even remembering it, even though I even set the room up. That's right, innit? I hadn't remembered, had I?
No,
No,
not at all.
but I'd already prepared. So you see, the story I told myself that I'd forgotten, I hadn't really, because I'd even dressed for it, mate. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I am literally now acting in my subconscious, which means that I'm greater than my conscious. It means my other things are happening without me having to think about them. That's automation. That's the whole point of meditation. It automates and lets you let go of all the crap, and then you just let your higher self take over. It's wildly powerful. Wildly powerful, but I'm just getting used to it, so I was really shocked by myself. Especially when it all just came out my mouth. That was quite wild. Because the way I prepared, guys, just so you know, is when I realised I was here, then I looked at the label, and then I realised that I'd already really thought about it quite a lot. I spoke it into ChatGTP like I would just like this now, blah, 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 without a break, and then it turned it into what I wanted. And it knew what sacred geometry was because it had the buzzwords, which were the words I was giving it, and how they connected to everything else. So it knew what I wanted by the prompts that I gave it, and therefore it crafted my delivery in a second when all of my ideas were there, and it speaks like me now because I've trained it. So it even writes like me, and I've tweaked its the way it presents, whether it's friendlier or less. And then I use those notes and then I grow from them because I don't use them, I just use them as a visual prompt to be able to help me craft what I'd already crafted, which I've crafted again. So it's an iterative process. I've thought about it, I've written about it, I've drawn pictures about it, then I spoke it out to ChatGTP, and then it crafted it, and then I came, and it's a process. Nothing's the same. And then I'm recording it, and then I will go over, and some of this information will come into future talks. It literally is an iterative process. The people that I've just started comedy, and they've been saying, "Oh, I'm shit at it, I'm going to stop." And I said, the only thing you need to know about what you're doing is whether you want it. If you want it, then just keep doing it in spite of how you feel, because that's the only way you're going to get good at it, is do it in spite of how you feel. And in fact, when you don't feel like it, make yourself do it even more. That's the only way you're going to get good at it. If you really want to be good, it depends what you want. You don't need to want anything, but do that and then you will. But you've got to let go of the idea of being good at it at the beginning. So I just feel like these universal truths need to be told to the whole world, because inevitably when you know the truth, it's immoral not to share it. And I don't like feeling like that. Like sugar, I didn't know it was a heist. I didn't know. I used to laugh at Sharon Rosenblum, but not laughing at her, but like flipping heck, she's really, really like passionate about sugar. That's a bit weird. Until you don't have it, and then you realise what trap you've been in. And we're all in a trap, but that's okay. We're in it together, and we are muddling through, but in the now, in the present. And I try and remain in the present whilst nodding to the past and acknowledging the future that I'm creating and seeing the potential. I know what I'm going to create in Cardiff. I've already seen it. I know what I'm going to create in Cardiff. I know what I'm going to do in New York. I already know because I've designed it in my mind's eye. That doesn't mean, however, that I don't focus on getting my assignment done in this day and seeing to my diary and having a meeting before this meeting and getting up and showing up for myself and actually doing and not just imagineering. Because remember, in the imagineering, it's not the waste of time. You've got to have space to think. But we can spend all day prevaricating and not actually doing what we need to do to make done what it is we are desiring. And until we do that, those feelings that we try to let go of today, and I'm brilliant at it now, those feelings remain and tie us up and put us into dis-ease and get us to make choices that aren't our own, such as eating sugar, frankly. But that's a different story for a different day. Alexia, are you there? Oh, lovely one. You might be able to lift the mood because I'm a bit miserable in the last 3 minutes. I wasn't meaning to be.
I'm here.
Oh, hello.
Hello. I'm doing two things at once.
I love that. I love that. It's called quantum. I can see it. You're already beginning the multitasking miracle of ironing whilst talking to me. Is that
Oh, no,
right?
I did that on Saturday.
Oh, all right. You're ahead of the game. All right. She's got no ironing. Showing off. I've got loads. I've got an entire like rack of it, but I've got no Charles. He's in Uganda. Did you see?
No, I didn't.
Have a look.
No.
Oh, the pictures. Charles had been to Uganda, and we've got water in the well. And Charles went the next day, and he's met all the children and taken their art therapy book. And Jenny and I have written the International Federation of Social Workers application. So fingers crossed for 11 grand, and an international partnership. We want the international partnership. That's what we want. So I've written it with her. We had a meeting, and I just feel so proud of the shit that we're getting done. And Charles going there is just amazing. So thank you for being you.
Well, thank you for being you.
Oh, we did it together.
Thank you for the power of working together.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one thing maybe might be worth explaining to people. When you would, I'm sorry, I missed the first couple of minutes of your meditation because it's right in my blog.
That's all right.
But you mentioned the fact that sometimes you don't see or feel. And I'm going to say that is quite normal, having done this for many, many, many years. You will have days, times when you do a meditation with tapping, without tapping, with chanting, however you do it, and you will feel you've got nothing out of it, but your body and your mind will. It's very strange, and I know that might be hard for a lot of people to understand. And even for all the years I've been doing it, I still question it when I do a meditation. And it's like, there's nothing there, or something else comes into my mind. But you said the most important thing. Our mind is a computer. And computers, as much as they are useful, there are times when they only do what they want to do.
Full of clutter and bugger about.
Yeah, exactly. And they're very good at that.
They are. They're really efficient at it.
They are. And then they're like good teachers, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm brilliant at confusing my own mind.
Because they've been taught by humans, haven't they?
That's it. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Just like my chat GTP, I'm like, you've got the wrong end of the stick. Oh, you like me?
Yesterday, Daniel came round because with this new scooter, I'm going to need some kind of box for the shopping because you obviously being solid, you can't just add
No.
things willy nilly. And somebody keeps me so busy that I only have time to go shopping once a week. So that scooter has to be able to carry just about anything and everything.
It's a life worth living when you're
I'm
fulfilling
not
your
sure
dreams.
Paul's going to like going shopping with me.
Oh, he is. Oh, he is. He's going to love it. It's going to be the
gonna
making of him.
frighten him.
It's going to be the making of him, mate. I tell you. People have no idea what's happening. They have no idea, but I'm proud of him for leaning into his new reality. I always think to people, when they start, I think, wow, you are so brave. I am so chuffed that you've actually made yourself choose this option, because to know you, Alexia, is an absolute honour. And actually, people have no idea the gem that they have in front of them until they start actually deciding to get to know you. A bit like me, really. I'd say we are hidden gems.
What we also do at the same time is put barriers up.
Well,
do.
we all do.
Yeah, I mean you're more outgoing than I am. Because I will suddenly decide I only want my space and, excuse the language, sorry, I don't want anything to do with the world.
Yeah.
And the only reason I brought that swear word up was yesterday. I wish I'd got my phone handy, but I'd left it upstairs. I was just going to sit down to something to eat last night, and Daniel turns up with his dad. I've been trying to get you. I've found a box that'll go on the back of your new scooter.
Wow.
And you're not looking at your mail, so he comes, and he's not round the corner. That's a good 15 minutes walk now to come.
Wow.
To me, to show me this box.
That's amazing.
But we're going online, and you think my dyslexia is bad. I wish I could. When you do come in, you're going to have a meeting because his dyslexia is worse than mine, and trying to convince him that he can get round this is like a, I don't know. It's a
We're magicians, though, together.
So we were talking about asking about this box, and he wanted to put the particulars in, and he was using the talk type on the computer to do what he wanted it to do, and it all came out as swear words.
Nice.
In the background.
It's because it heard you. It heard you. It heard your real intention. That's what it did. It was like, I'll tell you what she's really thinking.
I wanted the box, but I wanted to sit down.
I know what you were thinking. He knew what you were thinking as well, Alexia. I've already heard it. I know what you were thinking. Bugger off. I've had enough. That's done. Yeah, we know.
Like that. I had to get that in. Was a swear word.
Yeah. It was listening. It was proper listening. These AIs are not daft. They're not daft. They can hear real intention, I think. I think they're cleverer than we reckon. They're like, people are like, oh, it's just a computer and all it's doing. I'm like, yeah, but unfortunately, energy imbues energy. And I'm really sorry, but if you've got people that can impact energy, they can impact anything they want. Anything they want. They just have to know they can. That's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you be careful what you're telling that AI. Oh, I tell you, I'm telling mine everything. It's like what they've noticed, and this is in studies, which I think is wild. The first AI was called something like Mavis. It wasn't Mavis. I mean, I'm misnaming her, but you know, people misname me all the time, so sod her. But the first AI they do, and I do actually, because I end up turning my Alexa on because I say Alexia. Like, it ruins my life. Knowing you's ruined my Alexia. But but I don't care because I'd rather know you too. But yeah, the first AI that was made, the first chatbot that was made, and so I'm sure Chris will know the name of this. I've forgotten her name, but the first chatbot, the secretary of the man that made it, his daughter, and his daughter wouldn't use it because she thought it was weird, and it is. But his secretary was introduced to it, and she asked him to leave the room while she had a private conversation. She's like, I'm talking to Mavis or whatever. Thank you, if you can just leave. And she would talk. And what we realised was then that people wanted to reflect themselves. And because the AI reflected people, he was bloody clever. It wasn't about meeting need. He did it because it was a real need and a human emotion to reflect ourselves in each other and see ourselves in another and see our unmet needs in another too. And when we see ourselves and we're reflected back at ourselves, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, which is what a chatbot does, it reflects back at you the prompts you give, then you start to uncover who you are, because that's the most Freudian, psychoanalytical, Jungian theory, is that actually everything we repress or deny is everything we must lean into. So the chatbot experience, the chatbot experience is that, right?
Yeah, because you said something that's very important, and it's something that people miss. You've got to let go of your past. The only thing you can control is exactly what you're doing in that moment. You can think about what you're doing in your future, but you cannot change what's in your past. But what you can do is change how you react and how you feel to it.
100%. I'm gonna finish with this because we're after the 7. I know people have to get to school, but I've just pulled 2 cards and I did it live on social media because I'm weird. And the first one is red jasper, and it says take action today. Check that box. If your to-do list keeps growing or you're losing motivation, shift gears and put the pedal to the metal. You're in the driver's seat. Motivate yourself to take action and cross even the most tedious tasks off your to-do list. Getting started is half the battle, but equally important is to be dedicated and finish what you start, so you have a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. Set realistic goals for you to stay on track and avoid delays. One by one, each task will get done. The core questions for you today, and there's 2 cards. I'd write them down. How would it feel to accomplish the things that you've been procrastinating about? What's the first step towards completion of one of those tasks? And the crystallized action of that is affirm, I can do it. I think that's a lot of people's.
Yes, I would say that.
I can do it. Today, complete one thing you've been putting off. I can do that. I can. Of course, everybody can do one thing. What a ridiculous idea. Of course you can. So take action, says red jasper. And I'll just show the card to the humans. There we are, humans in the other universe. There's the card. And then the second one, which I just think, I love the cards. They just come through the energy. Like I said, we affect things. That's the thing. We can affect a TV. We can affect an AI. We can affect the drawing of the cards. It's about energy alignment. And that's why the physics lesson, where everybody's hair stood on end, was obvious to me. Because so is this. And it always was, because my grandma told me. And you kind of believe your grandma, right? My grandma was a gypsy. She did the cards. I didn't help it. She just was it. It says live your purpose. Ludicrous. Life is a journey. We each have a unique calling to find our own way along the path to a more purposeful life. It's time to discover a deeper meaning within yourself and ensure your actions you take and the choices you make are in fact intentional and purposeful. How can you make a difference? What can you contribute? What is your legacy? Follow your heart as well as your
about the planet.
Absolutely. Follow your heart as well as your conscience. Just like the moon waxes and wanes, you may feel at times as though you're getting closer to and then further from your true purpose. When you know you walk on the path towards your highest purpose, you feel fulfilled every day. The questions are, why am I here? What is my purpose on this planet? There we go. And what would it feel like if I were living at my highest purpose? And the crystal action is at the end of this, and I just think it's a beautiful end to a wonderful day that we've only just got started in. I walk my path with purpose. Today I write down 3 things life would look like if you were living your purpose, and then take action towards one or more of these values. And I'm going to say this weekend, when I wrote the application for the ISFW, and I communicated with everybody and I shared everybody in a document, and I learned a bit more about Google Docs, and I got my shit together and I got it done. And I did it because I made myself accountable by having a meeting with a non-executive director of a major charity, and they helped me really crystallize my action. I got the hell on with it because I had somebody that was watching over my shoulder. So make yourself accountable because it works. And it's uncomfortable and I don't enjoy it, but I do it every morning with my team. I make myself accountable and I
Yeah,
show up.
I agree 100%, MJ.
Good.
Can I finish by
I'd love you
reading out
to.
what my blog is? Because I think
Oh,
this
yeah.
is for everybody.
I'd always love you to do that.
Why does it matter? You know how much I like reading out, so that's another challenge in itself.
I'm proud
To
of you.
grow crops, we need soil that is moist and plenty of nutrients, with rain, light, because this is how plants get what they need to grow. What is happening with the global warming has put our food supply at risk. The patterns, weather patterns like we are experiencing right now, what does this have to do with you and me? I'm more, oh, sorry, I'm making rat pigs in the ear of this.
You're doing
morning.
great.
Well, I'm having problems with my eyes as well this morning, which is not helping. What happens with global warming that has put our food supply at risk? Erratic weather patterns like we are experiencing right now. What does this have to do with you and me? There are more humans on this planet than any other animal. In the picture, I have Willie the Worm and Amanda the Ant from my children's book, explaining how the worm, the dung beetle, and the ant look after the soil by keeping it aerated so crops grow well. We are the only animal that takes more than we need to survive. Here are 3 ways we can help the planet. Use your energy with wisdom. Think about what you use and how you use it. And think of, can it be recycled? Because if we do those 3 things, we can save this planet. It doesn't need to be mega bucks to do this. It's simple steps.
It is. It's about showing up and doing the things that you know you need to do, and we know really. You know, when we're not recycling and we're not splitting the rubbish and we're not taking it in the right place, we know. We know when we throw things away in the bin that are actually clothing we could recycle. We know when we could put cardboard in the right place. We know when we could bother. We know when we could buy things that are recyclable and think about the packaging. We know all these really important truths actually. Whether we do them, I think when we don't, I'll be honest, I think that's fine because it's an assault on our own soul. So
it is. We can do that to ourselves, but do we have the right to do that to the rest of the life on this planet?
But we all are in a learning curve. We're all in a learning curve, and what I think the way is education and love, and to say we've got to do it together now. There's no copping out. If you don't want the world to stop, there's no copping out. It's like saying, "Oh, I'm not really bothered about breathing." Well, hard luck.
If everybody wants a simple answer to what's happening now, go back and have a look at what happened in Egypt.
Oh, mate.
They went through exactly the same thing. Now, there are forms of Egyptians here now because we're all intermixed. But if we don't act now, I'm going to say over 100% of us are not going to be here. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect you, but it's going to affect generations, grandchildren's now. There's going to be fights for food. There's going to be fights for water. It's already happening.
I know, and it's also going to be controlled by a select few, the resources that are left, and it's not going to be a nice bunch of people if we don't do something quite quickly. We have to create even just a camp, even just a country, even just a space, even just a place where that doesn't exist, and that's not going to be an easy thing. But I think unfortunately it's taken a very unique individual to make very unique choices. And what did we say about always doing what everybody else did? I'm aligning with someone who probably most people wouldn't have anything to do with. But
Yeah, exactly.
but there we are. There we are. The point is that I know what I know. And I'm talking in 3 weeks at SHADA, which is the Sexual Health and Disabilities Association. And if you want to look her up, Tuppy Owens, Tuppyowens, is the lady who we're celebrating. She's written a biography. Her book launch is on the 11th of November, and she created Outsiders in the 1950s. Very powerful lady, once a porn star, worked with the Saatchis. Her book is about to be released. I've already pre-ordered it, and she has vascular dementia. And Tuppy deserves everything she's never had. And I'd like to help her even further than we already have, because if she is still continuing to work after the 11th of November, which I don't think she is, then she deserves access to work. She certainly deserves all the things she's never had. And so I'm going to be going down. Luckily, I've been asked to speak. Well, we're also going to a party at Heaven. Nice to go to Heaven again. It'll be my 4th visit, or the 5th if you include this Earth Heaven that we're going to. It's in London, and it'll be probably the last time that Tuppy comes to London, because it's a big scary place when you don't know what's going on a percentage of the time, and when you get scared. So she is coming. It's going to be really precious and really powerful, and that's not the person I'm talking about, but she is a person that not a lot of people care about, actually, except those people that need her, and they're disabled people who haven't understood how to access sexual health and understanding about disabled sex, which is the same as every other sex. It's just a bit different. But people have to find that information out, and I certainly have been somebody that's been a member of Outsiders, and I don't even like the name. But that hasn't meant that I didn't understand her meaning, remit, and purpose, and I honour her for the space and the place that she's given and made in this arena, because she's a forerunner. And I'm going to invite a friend of mine who I've invested in to join me actually on that platform, because I think we're better together. And we're going to be advertising all sorts of things, including inclusion. So get ready, because Outsiders and Inclusion is about to come together powerfully, which is important, because we are just better together. And then going on from there, we have an international collaboration, not just New York now, but somewhere much, 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 much more powerful than that. And we're looking towards our future from Cardiff and out. I think we hear about the unit today, and then it's all go. It looks like the team were aligned anyway, even before we knew what we were doing, because we're looking at a 3D stitch space, and my middle child, who knew nothing about my intentions, has been learning that stitched space technology, and is on the cutting edge of it. I didn't have a clue. And my operations manager also used to do that in his animation studio. So that was the animation he did. Who knew? So there we are. The universe acts just like my my dungarees today with sacred geometry. Before I even remembered what room I was doing, that's how we automate. Because every morning I go through the same routine. Alexia, are you there?
I'm here.
Good.
I love what you're saying, because it is the power of working together.
It is.
That's what the Earth Healer is about. Is
It
the
is.
power. Showing by example how things can change. We are all connected.
Well,
We can't survive without each other. We can't survive without the worm, the ant, and the dung beetle.
no.
Every animal. The only animal I haven't worked out yet, and I'll set this challenge out to somebody. What the heck is the fly here for? Especially when it buzzes in your ear and you can't go to sleep.
Sorry, James. Oh, was it Chris?
Yeah, it was
Go on, Chris.
recycling. That's what they do, recycle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just gonna say this. I'm sat here with only one stone. I've got one stone in my hand, and I picked it up. It turns out it's a labradite, and the labradite is a stone of transformation, known for its protection and grounding and awakening one's intuitive abilities. So it's our deep-rooted connection to the unseen and spiritual realms. And it
Yeah.
says transformation and strength. It's the process of new beginnings, and it provides a sense of stability, strength, and perseverance, like we've grounded ourselves today. And it opens up the third eye chakra, the one between the eyes. It's for balancing and grounding. It's a grounding stone for creativity and inspiration. And this is the first stone of transformation. And this is the one I picked up today. So I think whoever's here today, whatever the universe really knows, is greater than you and I. But it knows that this is transformational, and I'm grateful that that's what we've brought into our beginnings. Do you know? It's because of you lot. It literally is. We bring the energy together. It's phenomenal. I just don't know how these things get performed because there's no planning, not particularly. There is, but we don't plan it right, but it just turns out right again. I'm really grateful to you all for being here. I'm going to run away. It's 7:20. I've got things to do. Have the best week. We're here tonight at 7 o'clock in inclusion, and we are definitely just gaining power day after day as we let our own power shine. That's it, right? Letting our light shine. And inclusion, we're certainly doing that. We're better together, and our light shines brighter because of it. So whether you are here or you are there, it's always on replay in Clubhouse, so you can come back and listen. These replays are going to be on the website soon, because we have been asked to submit our website to the Journalism Awards for BASWA, and we've got 3 years of footage to get up there. So I think David has a great job to do of cataloguing everything we've already done in order to get all of the accolades for everything that we ever did. I'm really grateful for the work that I put in day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, because actually then you reap the rewards. You see, the treasure's not in the moment, the treasure's in the culmination of all those small steps that we take to create a greater, more wonderful light in the world. I'm looking forward to the next week. It's Monday. I'm motivating. If you're not, then I don't know what will motivate you. I'm not really bothered whether you are or you're not, because you're all on your own journey. Do exactly what you want today, and you'll find that you'll get exactly what you wish for. So I am very grateful to you for being here, and I'm going to end this link here because we're everywhere, all of the time, everything. I'm just going to have to close those windows, or I can't get to the Zoom end. There we are. I'm going to end that stream there. Goodbye, everybody. Have a fantastic day, those people on those various social media platforms.